Good morning. You're watching Businessworld Live here on One News. I'm Jess De Los Santos. It's the start of a new trading day, but first, let's go straight to our top story. Economic managers are pushing for looser restrictions and more mobility for vaccinated Filipinos to help the economy recover. NEDA Secretary Carl Kendrick Chua said the economy could only achieve growth and employment targets for 2021 if parts of the country no longer revert to ECQ and if the current MECQ in Metro Manila is relaxed after September 15th. Now, the current MECQ was originally scheduled to end on September 7th, but the government had abruptly deferred a plan to ease the curbs in NCR, saying guidelines have yet to be finished. For his part, Finance Chief Sonny Dominguez told senators during a budget hearing that the government should provide greater mobility to vaccinated people to promote inoculation and to allow more sectors to function. Quarantine restrictions have prompted the government to slash its full year GDP target to 4 to 5% from 6 to 7% previously. Now, the Bangko Sentral has so far unleashed 2.3 trillion pesos into the financial system to accelerate economic recovery. In a presentation before the DBCC budget hearing, BSP Governor Ben Jokno said the central bank continued to implement monetary policy measures. These measures are meant to ensure ample liquidity in the financial system, restore financial market functioning, and boost market confidence. The BSP chief added that the Monetary Board remains keen on sustaining accommodative policy settings for as long as necessary until the country fully recovers from the impact of COVID-19. And this just in, exports jumped by 12.7% in July year on year, reversing a slump of nearly 9% in the same period last year. However, the July figure was lower than the 18.8% growth recorded in June. Meanwhile, imports rose 24% year on year. That's a turnaround from a contraction in the same period in 2020, but below the 43.4% growth in June this year. Month-on-month, trade deficit narrowed to $3.29 billion from nearly $3.4 billion in June. Okay, let's see how that is affecting market movement so far. The PSEI starting the day in the negative territory here, reversing gains seen yesterday. The index now down close to 0.3% to 6,930, effectively, at least so far for today, halting a two-day rally that we've seen so far this week. Now, Aniceto Pangan of Diversified Securities said with the MECQ extension in Metro Manila, investors are expecting increasing infection rates to be better contained. That's ahead of a possible downtrend in COVID-19 infections by the third week of September, at least according to models made by the Octa Research Group. Again, the country, at least the local bourse, joining the selling pressure in Asia, tracking dips seen in among U.S. shares as investors continue to worry over a slower recovery from the pandemic. This time, let's zoom in on one particular stock, which has been one of our top gainers so far this year, AC Energy. Some major developments here from the power player. It successfully issued $400 million in fixed-for-life green bonds, pushing fresh capital raised thus far in 2021 close to $1 billion. That latest offering has a fixed coupon rate of 4% for life. Now, proceeds will be used to finance eligible green projects, whether new or existing. These include solar energy projects, onshore and offshore wind energy projects, and geothermal ventures. So far, as you can see in this chart right here, AC Energy joining the sell-off in the main index, down 0.2% to 9 pesos and 98 centavos a piece. Now let's zoom out a bit and try to see how it's stacking compared to the rest of the local bourse. So far this day, a number of our stocks, a majority of them, in fact, starting the day in the red here. GT Capital is our worst performer so far, down 1 2/10%. Same goes with Megaworld, also down over 8%. Ayala Corporation also down by as much, starting the day in the red, even as the SEC has approved the incorporation of AC Logistics, which will serve as Ayala Corporation's vehicle for investments in the logistics space. Also, let's try to focus on one particular stock here, telco giant Globe. That's after Bloomberg cited sources saying that Globe might actually just follow PLDT as it considers selling data centers. So that potential divestment is worth $200 million, but there's no certainty yet as deliberations are still ongoing. Bloomberg reported the same for PLDT a few days back, as telcos mull shedding data centers due to higher demand for digital infrastructure as the pandemic drags on Globe. As you can see, also mirroring the sell-off that we're seeing here in the index, down by 0.2% to 2,784. Lastly, let's have a quick check at Metro Pacific here. That's after courts denied NLEX Corporation's claim for damages over the delayed adjustments in toll rates. The tribunal said the Toll Regulatory Board is not liable for the delay on the petitions for toll rate adjustments back in 2012 and 2014. The court noted as well that the TRB already acted on the petitions. That's why rates were hiked back in March 2019. Again, Metro Pacific also not a good day here, not at least for the start of the session, down 0.5% to 3 pesos and 88 centavos a piece. Here are other headlines we're keeping our eyes on. The oldest appliance and electronics retail store in the country, Automatic Center, is closing shop next month due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The company, which operated for more than 70 years, announced that it will shut down all retail operations on October 10. However, it will still seek out parties interested in using the Automatic Center brand name. Automatic Center operates several retail stores and shopping malls across Metro Manila and Cebu, including Alabang Town Center, Greenbelt, Eastwood, and Trinoma. The retail industry has been losing revenue as lockdown restrictions and health protocols led to a decline in social mobility. The Philippine Retailers Association last month asked the government for quicker vaccine deliveries as the industry continued to run out of cash reserves following 3 major lockdowns since last year. Now, business leaders and economists slammed the government for its last-minute decision to postpone the relaxation of quarantine restrictions in Metro Manila. Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry Acting President Edgardo Lacson says such unstable policies further dampen business and consumer confidence. He said the government should be more prudent and avoid prematurely announcing half-studied policy shifts since they have tremendous impact on businesses and people's lives. PhilExport Chairman George Barcelon added that the sudden backtracking to MECQ does not reflect well on the part of authorities. He pointed out that some sectors already prepared to open shop by calling on their workers and buying their supplies when the last-minute withdrawal was announced. Barcelon said this just heightens the mistrust of the private sector on the government's pandemic response. Now, recall that many establishments were forced to make last-minute adjustments after the palace announced that NCR will remain under MECQ pending clear guidelines on the proposed GCQ with granular lockdowns. Like what we mentioned earlier, restaurateurs were gearing up to welcome their first customers on Wednesday when the government suddenly withdrew the easing of mobility curbs. To understand how much a setback this latest move is for the sector, we have with us Karen Caballero, Executive Director of Resto PH. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Jess. How are you?
Okay, doing great. I hope you guys are doing great as well, although not a good news really for the sector in general. Take us back to Tuesday night when we all found out that the government backtracked on its decision to reimpose GCQ in NCR. How was that like for a food operator or already preparing for first day of operations the following day?
Well, needless to say, it was a very emotional night for our community. Very sad and disappointed. As the state of the food and beverage industry, we have been called the non-essential industry, for which we really respectfully disagree. We are essential to about 2.2 million workers and families who used to be employed in the F&B sector. The farmers and the fishermen who are our partners and who support our industry, and we know we have the right to work like anyone else. So
Mhm.
it's a very challenging time for us.
Very understandably so. But MECQ for another week, can you give us at least a number as to how much that's going to cost you? Losses here in potential revenue and even in manpower.
Losses nationally is about 1 billion a week. That's including informal sector. We're talking about food courts, fast foods, and the like. So this is from Euromonitor Philippines.
So that's going to be at least, is that at least a figure that you mentioned? Is that going to be on a national level, or are we referring at least in NCR alone?
Nationally.
Okay, nationally. Okay, question now, Karen. Just for how much longer do you think the industry cope with prolonged lockdowns?
It has been 18 months since COVID pandemic hit the Philippines. We have suffered tremendous losses due to the lockdowns, and we have financial obligations to our banks and suppliers. Many of our employees have families to feed, and assurance of continuous employment is difficult to without visibility of our future. So we don't know for how long, but the industry is, well, some are dead, some are dying. So this is an SOS really to the public and the national government.
Okay, just to better understand the gravity of the situation, Karen, can you give us at least an idea how many of your members have so far closed shop?
We have yet to get the final, well, the updated percentage, but it has been really quite significant over the past 18 months. And this is very alarming for us. And this operation, the disruption and taking back and the abrupt changes of the community quarantine isn't helping us at all. So, but we can come back with the updated data in the next coming days.
Now, you mentioned again the flip flopping decisions here. I mean, the business sector, in fact, in general, has said that there's so much instability when it comes to the decision making. How is the food sector, for one, taking the way policymakers are handling the situation?
Jess, we have always been supportive of the government's call for quarantine restrictions in the interest of public safety. However, lockdowns cannot be indefinite and arbitrary without the affected people being consulted and supported, like our community. So we have few appeals to the national government, to the IATF, few things for us to give us a runway to prepare to reopen or close again, and know that the abrupt directives are harmful in itself. We also appeal to allow the vaccinated population more freedom to work and consume so as to help the economy going even under GCQ. Also, if there are ways that the government can help provide business relief packages to industries like restaurants, spas, salons, gyms, and the likes, I think that would be very. Yeah.
You did mention a number of things there. For one, do I take it to mean as well that Resto PH, at least as an umbrella organization, is supporting moves for a bakuna bubble?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So we really hope that, with the programs of vaccination, especially in the NCR, the bakuna bubble would be very, strategic and helpful for us to really proceed and help the economy jumpstart again in the next coming months.
Okay, you also did mention business relief packages. Can you specify that for us at least more? What exactly do you want as a form of a relief package for the food sector?
Well, there's two ways for the business owners and the workforce. You have to understand just that our workforce, they do not get ayudas like the rest of, when they do not have work. If we do not open, they don't have work. That's no pay, no work policy. And that is, at least for most restaurant owners, and that is a sad state that restaurant owners are really keeping in mind. If it was just for them, it would have been easy to close down and hibernate. But we have over a few thousand displaced and disenfranchised employees to think of. And those are things that we really appeal for the national government to take a look at.
Now, of
Aside
course,
from, yeah.
go ahead, Karen. Go ahead.
Aside from that would be the restaurant owner side. These are the small, medium enterprises which just, started a business with no return of interest in the horizon in the next couple of years or months. So this would be very helpful for us just to at least assist resuscitate the industry. Yeah.
Okay, now, should MECQ be extended beyond the 15th of September? Are you going to make an appeal to at least allow restaurants to operate at a certain capacity, whether it be al fresco or on a different level at least beyond the 15th?
Yes, that's correct. We will continue. Resto PH and the rest of our F&B community will continue to lobby and appeal to the IATF, the national government, for their utmost consideration. We are also partners of the national government in terms of economic recovery. So we really hope that the government would heed to our appeal and call for such consideration, especially on the bakuna policy.
Okay, lastly, Karen, before we let you go, we do know, of course, authorities are really gearing towards the implementation of granular lockdowns, but they have yet to fine-tune the guidelines on that one. What policies and protocols do you want to see there to at least help restaurants recover?
Just a simplified, where everyone can understand, a policy that's simplified. We hope that the bakuna bubble being proposed to allow to be to the fully vaccinated to enter business establishment be approved. So just a simplify and a more solid and decisive action in the next couple of days and weeks.
Okay, just be at least standing firm, having a more stable decision will go a long way for the sector. Thank you very much for your time
That's
this
correct.
morning, Resto PH Executive Director Karen Caballero. Morning,
Thank you,
Karen.
Jess. Good morning. Good morning.
And that's a first look into the business day this Thursday, September 9, 2021. Catch Businessworld live for the market close later at 3:15 p.m. today. I'm Jess De Los Santos, and VR1 News, mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines.